Welcome to the Yin and Young podcast. I'm here with Vaughn. Vaughn, you want to do your intro?
Hey, how's it going? This is also the Vaughncast show along with the Yin and Young podcast.
Yeah.
How's it going? Going well. Thank you for the invite. I've been a fan of your guys' podcast. I've been listening for a while.
Really?
I liked...
Damn, we have a fan.
I liked your guys... I thoroughly listened to your episode last week. I was doing retail closing and I heard his recollection of his encounter with this Japanese woman in Taiwan. I remember you talking...
Shout out to that Japanese woman.
You were talking about like parenting and just like how the Chinese affection from like parents to kids is a little different, a little tougher. Your review for Solo, not a good review. I figured how y'all enjoyed Civil War and how y'all enjoyed
Infinity War, yeah.
Infinity War. Okay, because it was made by the same people, right?
It's the same brothers,
Same brothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like the flow of the podcast. I like listening to it. So yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dan, do you have any
comments? No, it's actually kind of cool. I've never actually met too many people who listen to our podcast.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do a quick intro, Dan. Let's see. I didn't really rehearse this, but whatever. Yin and Young. Oh, Yin and Young. Oh, Yin and Young. And Vaughn, you gonna freestyle for us?
Okay. No, not today. Not feeling it.
Yo, I'm here with Vaughn. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And I just wanted to say thank you for being here. Cause you know we gotta stick together. We gotta stick together. And I know it's hard out there. It's hard out there. But we're here for you. We're happy to see you, Vaughn. We're gonna have a lot of fun. When you're alone, just remember you got a bro. You got Yin and Young by your side, don't you know? We're here for you. We're here for you.
Wow, that's really good. Very impressed. Very impressive.
Thank you. All right, yay.
Okay, awesome.
He's the creative one of the two.
Oh well,
Both of y'all great.
you're creative in your own way, Dan. Oh, so format wise, it's kind of interesting because Vaughn has some questions for us. We got questions for Vaughn, and basically this is gonna be a double release, first time ever in Yin and Young Vaughncast history. I think. Yes. Yeah. So I don't know, Dan. I think we would just do a back and forth and just see how it flows. You know, kind of like sparring.
Sure.
Yeah. And we'll just go from there. Yeah. Vaughn, since you're the guest, I like for you to go first.
Sure.
Like anything you want to talk about real quick off the top?
Sure. I guess y'all could introduce yourselves about what you do and who you are.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm so professional. I mean, Dan, go first.
Why don't I go first while you finish swallowing or chewing?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I am working as an independent contractor for a small tech company. I used to be, they were located in San Diego, but right now I'm working remotely from LA because I told them I was moving back to LA. What else do I do? Pretty old, just getting older every day. Used to do more martial arts, and knees are giving out, so I don't do as much martial arts. Father of 2 kids. Wife is an actor, and also teaches acting.
Cool.
It's pretty, yeah.
What type of martial arts do you do? Curious.
I started doing Choi Li Fut when I was 17 and became an instructor, and I continue doing Choi Li Fut. I do some Yang style Tai Chi with some push hands. I know 3 forms. the short form, the 40, and the short Tai Chi set, or Tai Chi Gim set. But main focus is definitely Chole Phut,
Mm-hmm.
which is a southern kung fu system. It's not as well known outside of Hong Kong, but San Diego has like 7 or 8 schools. So it's the main kung fu school down in San Diego.
One thing we might do. Oh, sorry, Dan. Technical.
No, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I might sync the sound later.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
can send you that file maybe,
Awesome.
and then you have to sync it to your video or something like that.
Okay.
Or I can edit because I know how to edit all this stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah. So then that way you can probably still like keep it like that and. Oh, okay. Introduction of myself. Since we just got off martial arts. Well, first off, I'm the son of Taiwanese immigrants.
Okay.
My parents came over like in the 70s and late 70s, but I was born in the 80s in Milpitas.
Okay.
Actually, I was born in the Bay Area. I was born close to Milpitas, but I grew up in Milpitas.
All right.
And you're from the Bay, right? So you
Mhm.
know the South Bay. And I went to middle school, high school there. A lot of fond memories. And then from there, I started doing karate there.
Mm-hmm.
And I also started getting into like film. Maybe like I did some high school acting.
Mm-hmm.
I got into acting in high school. I did some plays there. And in college, I went to UC San Diego.
Okay.
And then I went there for my undergrad, and I did econ and I did a minor in theater, which is how I met Dan's wife actually. And basically from there, I did some more acting. I wanted to do some more filmmaking, but then after that I left UC San Diego, and I went to Taiwan because I wanted to live abroad, you know.
Right.
And I lived over in Taiwan for about 2 years studying Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I still study some martial arts there as well. And from there, long story short, after that, I did some film producing. I lived in Australia for a year after college,
Okay.
after Taiwan. And then after that, went back to the States. I started taking like community college classes in film, something I want to get into. Eventually, I went to grad school for screenwriting. And then that's how, like, I guess eventually we met up through a mutual friend, and we graduated the same year.
Yes.
Yeah. So Vaughn graduated from CSUN as well, Dan. And I graduated. Yeah, we both graduated in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated with a master's in screenwriting, and now I've been kind of like just doing work and stuff. Right now I'm doing kind of like social media marketing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and doing that. But on the side, I'm doing the podcasting, and I also do some short filmmaking as well, like editing, stuff like that. So
Cool.
and writing, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vaughn, let's see. I make music.
Vaughn, who are you?
I am Vaughn, also a son of Filipino immigrants.
Okay.
Was born in the late 80s, born in 87. My parents came here, actually stayed in the Philippines for the first 7 years of my life. They were doing their thing here, and I stayed with my dad's dad's late sisters
Wait, so you were born
in the Philippines.
in the Philippines? Okay.
Lived there for 7 years,
Oh, okay.
and then I came here. My grandpa brought me over here. Lived in LA for a little bit, but then mainly lived in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Moved around from Burlingame, Napa to Walnut Creek area.
Okay, so your first memories of America are in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in LA for like about a few weeks, but then my actual going to school and everything, yeah, was in the Bay.
Okay, all right.
I didn't have an issue with English. Everyone, like, I was put in ESL just because I guess it's what you do,
Yeah.
as for students who just came from the Philippines, but Philippines they really teach you English pretty well. So I came here with no accent, nothing. They're like, this guy doesn't need to be in ESL. He just speaks English.
Right.
But it was definitely a culture shock, just because you go from only know Filipino people to you see different cultures. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. white area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, but
yeah.
there's definitely diversity, but it was definitely my first exposure to, white people, Latino people, African Americans, Chinese, other Asians. But I think I adapted pretty well, But over time, unfortunately, I lost how to speak Tagalog and Kapampangan over time. So did that. Came to school here at CSUN when I was 18, out of high school. I'm like, I'm moving because I have family here.
Okay. So your immediate family is still in the Bay.
Just my dad and my stepmom, but
Okay.
everyone else is down here.
Okay, okay.
And then
Is your mom down here? Or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So with that, went to school, took some breaks, and I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious then, like going off of that,
Mhm.
this idea of home, right?
Yeah.
They talk about home. Like, what do you call home, I guess?
Let's see. Home to me is just like, I don't know. Home is like, some people say home is where the heart is.
Okay.
But to me, home is just like where I stay at right now. I rent this
Home
room.
is where the heart is.
I rent out this room in North Hills. To me, that's like home for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to like go home to like the Bay sometimes, but I like my alone self-care time for the most part.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Dan, any questions?
Do you do any martial arts?
He asked me that too. Back then in 3rd grade, I remember I visited Hawaii with family. I took Okinawa Kempo,
Okay. All right.
which is a form of karate, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kempo and karate are they're like the similar, right? Or like,
Well, there are different types of karate, right? Like Shotokan, there's Goju-Ryu, there's all those other offshoots of karate,
yeah.
and then Kyokushin. Kempo is basically means boxing. Ken is like the type of martial art, I guess.
Oh, yeah, Kenpo. Okay, yeah.
So I did that, and I also took kickboxing the year after in Hawaii. I got pretty fit, man. I remember what killed me was the 20-minute jump rope warm-ups.
Damn.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, so that's how kickboxing always started. And then towards like the few weeks before I graduated CSUN, I got a membership at UFC. I tried out Muay Thai, ran out of money, but it was very rigorous. Once again, the jump ropes was like always my thing. Cardio. I mean, I did running in high school, but jump rope was tough, and I guess like it's hard to like keep kicking like with your shins and like conditioning them and like punches. But
Yeah.
if I have the money or just the effort or the energy and time, I definitely want to try it again because it's such a good stress reliever, and it's also good to you learn self-defense essentially.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, wait, sidebar. Yeah, going back to like Filipinos like knowing their English, like. I was trying to chat up this girl on Instagram. She's like lives in the Philippines, and like, cause she wrote something about that I really connected with, like something about her family.
Yeah.
I was like, oh dude, I really like that article, and like
Damn.
and she looked kind of cute too, like this, come on,
I know.
it's like
I feel you. Yeah.
it's like you're like, can we comment? Is it okay to comment on women's
that's
beauty?
cool.
Like,
That's cool.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, okay, anyways.
Yeah.
So I was just like chatting her up, and dude, like her English is like basically native. So I was just like, dude, like, damn, the Filipino education system in English is like on point. Yeah. I guess I don't know.
I would say that outside of the U.S., Filipinos are the most assimilated to U.S. culture just because of the Western presence since
right,
World War
the
II.
war, yeah.
And I mean, there's definitely ups and downs about that. But
So going back, so let's take it back. What? So this section I want to call the biography section.
okay.
What I kind of want to get
to switch
is a
to
little bit
headphones.
about Vaughn, your biography, a little bit, kind of like the questions that you sent me about your kind of upbringing,
Yeah.
and your I guess how it led you to like your passions, which are hip hop and podcasting. It
Yes.
seems right now. So
Yeah.
let's start off. So you were in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Now in the Philippines, from 0 to 7, I guess, huh? Now at that point, and you're the only child.
Yes.
Were there inklings there in and let me know if this gets too personal,
No,
but like
okay.
but like so you grew up with your mom and your dad. They were together at that point.
They were, yeah, but I didn't live with them. They were here in America.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know them for the first 7 years of my life, essentially.
Damn.
Yeah. So there is that disconnect. I mean, I don't remember much in the Philippines at all. It's weird. From 0 to 7, I don't remember much till I got here.
Wow.
But I mean, like it was cool. Like I mean, I didn't complain. I had friends and everything. I don't remember anything too traumatic in the Philippines. But when I got here, they told me they were divorced, but I didn't know them like that, so like it didn't bother me. They kept saying it's not your fault. I'm like, dude, I just met you guys. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So to me, it was like, okay, that's fine. You know, I had a white stepmom. She was cool, but so with that, I think, kind of fast forward now, I never really had that connection with my parents. As like maybe other people did, because I guess in the first founding years, your first few years, foundation years,
Yeah.
I didn't know them. So like, I don't know. I mean, we're cool. I respect my parents. They're great. It's just I don't have that intimate bond with them.
Because those first 7 years, so you were raised by
My grandfather's sisters, but they passed away. One passed away.
So you were like real close with them, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So your great aunts, I guess.
Great aunts. So that was pretty much it. And then you know, school was fine. Let's see. I was a decent student. I wasn't great. You know, I was like
Elementary in
elementary.
Philippines or
Here.
or here. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
elementary. I did all right. I was never good at math.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Big debunking the Asian stereotype.
Oh,
I was good at English and writing.
nice.
Um,
Okay.
Let's see how I led.
Let me check in with Dan. Dan, sound okay so far? Dan.
Yeah, sound is much better.
Awesome.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right. Yeah, so sorry. So English, you found out at a young age, like 8, 9, that was more of your stronger suit.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, no offense to people who are like good at math. That's
wish
all
I was
good.
good. Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah.
And then fast forward to that, I moved around. It was just tough moving because you meet certain friends and then you have to move again. So that was kind of tough. But I think in middle school, towards the end of middle school is when I discovered hip hop. A relative of mine said, "Hey, maybe you should try rapping because you rap the songs on the radio."
Okay.
And I tried it, and then I kept at it, you know, and 16 years later, you know, I developed a skill for it. Took some breaks here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean,
So you've been rapping since
2001, 2002.
2001, 2002. How old were you then? Like
I was probably like, I don't remember, man.
yeah.
It was a while back.
Was it so high school, you would say, like
Yeah, I got into around then. That's when like 8 Mile came out and stuff.
Oh, 8 Mile. Shout out to 8 Mile.
Yeah. But so yeah, with hip
Mom
hop,
spaghetti, yeah.
yeah, that's how I got into that. I just love like being able to express yourself in that nature, being able to express yourself with rhymes, and I just fell in love with the culture. I didn't have too many friends in high school for the first few years because once again I moved from middle school to high school kind of thing,
Oh.
a different place. So I listened to music as so I kind of get by kind of thing.
This is all in the Bay, or
Yeah, in the
okay,
Bay,
in the
yeah.
Bay. So you moved around from middle school to high school to a different part of the Bay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
got you. Yeah.
And then, yeah, you know, and I was in a couple rap groups throughout that time period. One here, one in NorCal. But it stopped for me when both of them kind of disbanded and I came to college. I didn't know anyone who made music. The technology we have in front of us wasn't available.
Oh, yeah.
So I just took kind of a break from like writing. So I just kind of focused on college and like school life and just social life. And then yeah, that's pretty much. Or should I just keep going for?
I mean, so something that I'm always curious about is like so 8 Mile, like what were the works or the people? It doesn't even have to be famous people. Maybe your teacher or something that really said, "Oh shit, you know, turned you on into a rap game or turned you to creative writing or anything like that." Because for me, like I know, like I was always kind of like a wild kid. Like I was always kind of like energetic. You know, I remember I went to Taiwanese camp and I'd like dance all crazy on the dance floor. I calmed down a bit eventually, but like I think it was probably in high school. I want to say, I mean, I always liked like cartoons and stuff, and like I remember my dad was trying to like, I forget, I might have been like 8 or something like that, really young, and he's trying to cut my hair, but there was like, The Wizard of Oz was on TV, and I was just like, whoa, this is crazy, and I kept trying to get out of my seat, trying to watch Wizard of Oz between, and my dad's like, dude, stay still, right? And he got mad at me, but that Wizard of Oz, when I saw it as a kid, I was like, what the hell's going on? This is like magic, right? And then, but then I think what really got me into filmmaking was, we talked about this, was like Evangelion, right? When I saw like that anime, that I was like, dude, I didn't know, this is crazy. Like it's like really intricate story and character arcs. And then another film for me was Edward Yang's EE. It's a Taiwanese film about a Taiwanese family growing up. Basically all these parallel stories of the father, the daughter, the son, and the wife, and basically how their stories interconnect. And they're each going on their own path, So like, was there works like that, or like people? Also in high school, I had some really awesome teachers. Like I had a philosophy teacher, Mr. Hanley, was really awesome. Like opened my mind about different ways of thinking, and then Mr. Colburn about like writing and stuff like that, and music. Yeah.
I guess for me at the time it was like the Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, a lot of East Coast hip hop for me. I never resonated too much with West Coast too much. I mean, I love the music, but to me, I like the East Coast kind of hip hop in the mid '90s or late '90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
And then going to underground rap, such as we mentioned, Atmosphere.
Yeah.
So around that kind of music, really got me into it. I was super into like the lyrical, heavy, dense kind of music, and now it's totally opposite. I like the more fun type of music.
Okay.
Just because making music like that for me, I liked it, but I just never feel like I had fun. I always had to compete. Like, oh, what can I say that'll be so much more clever? But now it's more like the energy, the vibe. I have fun recording. I laugh. I have smile when I record. Before it was super serious.
Oh, for reals?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, there's that, and then let's see. That's how I got into hip hop. Yeah.
So like big artists for you, like if you were say at that time, I'm not saying now, at that time, like was it Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, okay.
Like those are just like the really mainstream ones.
Dan, you down with rap?
Yeah, I don't have too many rap albums actually. I don't. Yeah.
No worries.
That's all good. But you did some. You were into rock for a little bit too, right?
Oh my gosh, I had an emo. Oh my god, I forgot about this. I still am.
Yeah.
I had the big scene emo phase.
I got deep into emo.
Really?
Like Dashboard Confessional.
Yeah.
Like, Saves the Day. Hair? Nah, I just wore like kind of like button-up shirts and the geek glasses and stuff like that. I was into Weezer, for a while. Yeah.
All right.
Weezer. The Get Up Kids. I don't know if you know them. Yeah. The Get Up Kids. Saves the Day. Fuck, that was my shit. Like, that was my scene. Yeah.
For me, it was like long hair, the girl jeans, the tight shirts, My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Academy is. Man, that was like how did I forget? That was like, for me, that music was able to express at the time what hip hop couldn't, which is being more emotional.
Right.
Because at the time, hip hop was just like at the time, from what I listened to, it was like a very hyper masculine, which nothing wrong with it. It's cool. It's a good music. It was very aggressive.
Yeah.
But this kind of music, this alternative emo music.
Okay.
It said, oh, it's okay to like be emo. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel angsty. And when you're growing up being all rebellious and feeling rebellious, the whole world against you, this music was just my thing.
Oh, damn.
It was
Okay.
the Fall Out Boy, the Academy is Thursday, The Used, Paramore.
This was like high school for you?
Yeah,
or?
this is high school. This is high school, man. This was
You ever
towards the
learn
end.
like any guitar or drums or anything like that?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
But you got the flow though. You got
Yeah. But that was something for me, man. Like that was just open a different path, and then for me I had a different hard time identifying music wise what I was like. Well, back then it was hard to listen to rock and be a rapper. Now it's more acceptable. Back then I was like, it's weird.
Okay.
So people I dressed all seen in emo and then I rap. Oh, you don't look like the type of rapper that I'm used to seeing. So So yeah, there's that. But
I mean, music's music, right? And like wherever what connects with you, and it could be any genre, it could be anything. Yeah,
I think now it's more acceptable with internet, and it's more acceptable. Back then, I don't feel like, oh, either you're a rock kid or a rap kid, and I felt like both genres at the time were kind of pitted against each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, why? Yeah.
But okay, enough about me. Let's start with one of y'all. I don't know who.
I got deep into music-wise, like I kind of like classical as a kid, like Cande Pachelbel, right? And I remember listening to like, what's his name? Coolio.
Yeah.
He did
Gangster's
Gangster's Paradise with the Canon de Pachelbel over that. I was like, dude,
that's classical in the background.
I think not Gangster's Paradise. He did another song
Okay.
where it had like some classical in the background. But I play a little piano, some guitar, obviously. But like, I think what got me like really into music was like that whole phase, like the emo phase, like Weezer, Ozma,
Right.
the Get Up Kids, Something to Write Home About. I think that's almost like that's pretty much a perfect album. Like every song and the way it builds is like freaking like awesome, right? And that kind of got me into like wanting to play guitar.
I see.
So like I made like this really amateur album when I was 19, like after my first, I think it was starting my second year of college. I just like, fuck, I got some ideas. What it was there's this girl in Ozma, like the keyboardist in Ozma Star, and like I was just like, I saw her at a concert, and I got infatuated, dog. I got really like, dude, this girl's so cool. Like she's playing keyboards. So I wrote a song for her. Like I remember like I was with my homie and who was also into that scene, and I was coming back from college. We went to go get In and Out. And I think we just came back from the concert, and I was just like, "Fuck, I'm inspired." So I took the placemat from like the paper placemat, and I started writing lyrics to that, to a song for her. And I think I'm more mature now. Like I understand when I get what's the difference between like it's still tricky, but it's hard. There's that where's that line between infatuation and real like honest love, and that line is blurry, right? So that's when I got deep into so I made an album when I was 19, a couple songs there, and then I've always kind of kept on and off. I was in a band like when I went to Taiwan. I was in like a 2-person band we were street performers.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I played with my homie Jim. What up, Jim? With my homie Jim, and we played like Oasis songs, Coldplay songs, and then we wrote some of our own stuff too. We were called the Night Lights. Yeah. So, but it wasn't until recently I got back into music. Like I took a long break, focused on filmmaking and stuff like that, and acting. But just more recently, this is just hobby stuff. Like I'm just playing for my own relaxation. Like before I go to bed and stuff, I play a couple of like acoustic stuff for myself. I don't really. Maybe I'll record something, but for me, it's more like. It's more like mental health for me right now. Gotcha. It's just playing some music, and also I think the music now, like hip hop and with the emo stuff, like kind of like there's like a I don't know if you noticed this, but I think there's a huge throwback to the 90s right now. Like a lot of these emo indie rock kids, like I got into Phaser Days. She's like really good. Another infatuation. She's like super cute too. And also like I've been into Now. That's another band coming out. I mean they've been out, but they came out with a new album. So, and yeah, it's just like their music it's like kind of it's triggering these memories of me growing up in the 90s. You grew up in the 90s too, right? And I'm just like, damn, it's like touching into that kind of that emo feel. So and freaking like as far as hip hop and like the mix, like 88 Rising. Have you listened to any of their stuff, like Rich Brian or Joji or?
Okay, so is it a record label? I'm confused.
It's a multimedia company.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I got a negative impression of Rich Chiga from his first song, That Stick.
That Stick.
But I know he's changed, he's developed, but I haven't really.
Rich Brian. Yeah.
I listen. I've heard of this name Joji. I've seen him around, but I haven't listened either.
Okay, he's like R&B-ish, yeah, mix
Mhm.
of like he does some indies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting mix up mashup. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dan,
What about
anything?
you?
Yeah, Dan, any musical stuff on your end, or you're more of a film guy?
I'm more into film and TV.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about your upbringing and like I guess your biography with like how you got into film and TV and martial arts possibly.
As far as I mean, I don't do anything creatively in the film and TV world. I'm just a sales guy in the tech world.
That's cool.
Yeah, but as far as upbringing, I'm definitely a generation ahead of you guys. So I grew up in the '80s, and I watched a bunch of like cartoons,
Right.
like Transformers and GI Joe, and even some older stuff like Heckle and Jekyll and stuff.
Mhm.
But I grew up. I was born in New York, but I grew up. We moved out here when I was 4. Lived in LA for a few years. Parents got divorced. We moved down to San Diego, and I mostly grew up in San Diego.
Okay.
But as far as film and TV is concerned, I like to watch a lot of comedies these days.
Like what?
But I like Blackish.
Okay.
I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine still. I mean, the first season was probably the best one. I like I'm Sorry.
Mhm.
I really like that show. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's on True TV, but it's one of those most fucked up shows. Kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
Right.
kind of thing. But yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
and right now I'm just trying to catch up on everything since I've been moving from San Diego to LA again, back to my house, and
Okay.
I'm way behind on a bunch of shows.
So I think one thing I meant to ask is you're a father. What's it like? I'm sorry. How old are you? I'm just curious.
45.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like our age. I thought this guy was younger than me. He's a little older. I'm 30. He's in his mid 30s.
Yeah.
But I thought you were like our age or my age. From the pictures I saw, oh, okay, he looks like,
Asians, what's up?
Yeah.
Asian,
No,
Asian
if you
genes.
see me in person, I have gray hair and I'm like wrinkles.
So talk to us about like fatherhood. I mean, what was it like when you had your first kid or when you found out you were having a kid?
The first thought in my mind was I had to make more money.
Right.
Yeah, it is like the first thought. And fatherhood is you start worrying before the kid comes, you start panicking, and you start getting rid of a lot of things. Well, at least for me, I started getting rid of everything as much as I can. They call it nesting or nesting in general, but girls start putting things together and getting rid of things, and guys do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through that whole phase. But once the kid comes out, it's the first 2 months or first month at least. You're just constantly tired, unless you're one of those fathers who just like you really can't do anything except change the diaper.
Right.
And the kid needs to be fed every 2 hours.
Mhm.
And for me, I try to be supportive that first week, and woke up with my wife.
Yeah.
But you're just really just sitting there staring at her breastfeed the kid. So I just kind of gave up and just slept. But whenever the kid needed to get changed, I just got up and changed the kid.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as it changes your outlook on things.
How so?
You definitely have to think about. Well, you're no longer thinking about just yourself.
Right.
And it's different when you're the friends that you keep or that you hang out with, because when you're single, your friends who are married and have kids, they start hanging out with other couples with kids,
Mhm.
because the other couples with kids understand the schedule that
The
you have to
struggle,
keep.
yeah.
It's a struggle, but the schedule more than anything else. So they're a little bit more understanding if you're like 30 minutes late because something happened on the way.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And how was it like when you had your second kid? Were you more prepared? Obviously, just okay. I kind of been through the rodeo, or is it something totally new?
It's the second kid's much easier in that regard. You're less anxious, because with the first kid they call it the anxiety kid.
Right.
So you're always like worried and making sure that the kid doesn't eat anything funny or wash their hands, all that crap. But with the second kid, the kid was eating stuff off the ground, and you're like, oh, that's good. Build up his immunity,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And how old? What's the age gap between your first and second child?
2 years.
2
They're,
years.
They're like 25 months apart.
Okay. How old are they?
5 and 3.
Okay. Do they get along, or is it kind of a mixed bag?
Oh, they definitely get along. They usually play together. They got to that age, so once the younger kid turns 3, there's more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So in this past year, they're just talking and playing toys with each other, which is great because when I am cooking or whatever, they will play with each other, and then I listen in on a conversation. I try to join in, and they get pissed off, and it's like, we're playing. Don't bother us.
Wow.
What do they talk about? I'm curious.
They play with stories. I mean, right now they're into Transformers and dinosaurs, so they're like doing stories with the dinosaurs or the Autobots trying to rescue things or something like
Dude,
that.
that's my shit, dog. Like I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. Yeah.
Same here. I had action figures, and I would have them fight and everything. Are your kids? Are they Are they savvy with iPhones and whatnot, or you don't give them access for that yet?
Very, very limited
Good.
access.
I think that's great.
Yeah. Because I want them to be bored sometimes.
Right.
And it forces them to play with their toys and make imagination that way, rather than just sitting in
creativity.
front of a screen.
Mm-hmm.
No, I believe in that
Me
because
too.
I think when I was bored, like some of this, I film directing, right? And I basically a lot of those skills that I have, were kind of formulated when I was a kid playing with these toys. Like I had this whole story arc. I had this one Lego guy who wore a green. It's like this cheap little Lego guy with a green shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like he was the most powerful out of all of the guys, and he became the villain. Like I had this whole story arc where everyone had to beat this guy, and basically that's like the Thanos storyline in Infinity Wars or something like that. So so a lot of the stories telling skills and stuff like I developed from being bored. I don't know, Dan, if you've had a similar experience, but or if you but like I. And also they're doing studies now about like social media and like electronics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically having fragmented attention throughout the day.
Yeah.
It leads to depression, and also like extended periods of time on Instagram or Facebook
Oh my God.
can lead to like the patterns of judging
Yes.
and comparing yourself. And
Yeah.
it's really, I notice it. Like I know like I'll be on Instagram late at night sometimes. I'll be looking at I'll be on it for maybe like 7 minutes, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting kind of depressed right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of like, this is kind of getting me sad for some reason, and I stop.
Yeah, I look at memes now on Instagram. So
I see, dude. If you guys don't see this guy has a heart meme tattoo.
Yeah.
I'll get a photo later, but like,
Yeah, I love memes. I think memes have made a positive impact on my life because before that I never really laughed too much, but I wake up in the morning, I get memes from friends and I send them back, and laughter is the best medicine, they say, and I just laugh. It's just funny, and I've been into them for like 6 years, and it's just made my day. I laugh, and it's a way to relate to people.
Yeah.
But so yeah, going back to your kids, it's crazy because I do retail and I see kids on strollers with phones, and in a way they're technology. They're good at technology. They're savvy with technology.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that's what they're hooked on. You take that away, they cry and everything. Before we just had toys. Back then we had toys, or we had imaginary friends, action figures. So I that's a great move on parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because at some point or another, it's easier.
Yeah.
It's so easy just to like turn on the TV and let them watch something while you get something, but they become zombies. Yeah. Or at least the older one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Because I remember I visited you, and like I think you had Toy Story on, and then like once you put that movie on, they just sit like zombie. And I would, real talk, I was the same way. Going back to that Wizard of Oz story, like I would like, I could watch a movie and like zombie out like for reals. And in some way, I mean on the positive, like you're learning from the movie if it's a good movie, but same time it's like I think it's moderation, right? They talk about Buddhists, they talk about like moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Moderation has to be in moderation.
Oscar Wilde. I think said that.
Yeah, Oscar Wilde said. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
I think everything has to be in moderation, including moderation.
Moderation. Sometimes you can wild out. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Stories about that. Okay.
So yeah, can I switch?
Sure.
Let me.
Sure.
Before Dan, did you have any questions for Vaughn, real quick?
What are you doing these days? You're in retail doing what?
I do retail, sales associate, but I've been making music for a while now. It just became serious. It's interesting. 6 years ago, I stumbled upon this group, Brown Bag All Stars. They're from New York, and over time I became cool with one of the people. Now two of them, and over time we just like message each other. I just love their music. I never said like, yo, check out my music on that kind of shit. I just like, hey, I love your music, man. Like, can you give me a story on these lyrics? Or, you know, you're in New York. You were at this peak of New York when all this stuff was going down. Can you tell me more about that kind of thing? And I was just cool becoming friends with him. More recently, hey, like, let me check out your music. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, maybe if you do this or that. And he asked, and then he started giving me like little tasks, like, hey man, like check this out, let me know what you think. To, you know, early this year, he goes, hey, like I'm starting up my own record label / collective. Do you want to help me out in the business aspect? Like, you want to be my personal assistant? You want to help me with emails? You want to make videos for my songs? That kind of stuff. It's a good way for you to get into the industry, and also, you know, you help out and everything. And I said, hell yeah. You know, I still haven't gotten paid, but it's not the point. You know, the money to me never mattered. It's like it's a shock. It's surreal to work with one of your idols, you know. And then now it's like, hey, do you want to be part of the label? I'm like, fuck yeah.
Oh,
hell
shit.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, so he's been heavily instrumental in helping me out my music. I record music, I send it to him, he gives me feedback, he tweaks the little things here and there. So there's that. Podcasting, I got into it because I love listening to people's like stories. I guess we can go into like podcasting, how we got into it later on. And also too, I started helping out at a tattoo shop like about last semester. So there's that. I went in there. I like the people, they like me. I kept going there over time. Hey, do you want to help out? Like, you know, we can't pay you, but we can help you out with like tattoos and stuff and kind of give you discounts. And so I put in so much hours there, because after graduation I didn't work. I just helped out there, became good friends with the people there. One True Tattoo.
Post-grad depression, yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun though, man. I mean, like, I got to see a different side of tattoo artists, their perspective.
Because I just sorry to
Yeah, no, it's
interrupt,
okay.
but it's kind of like it's interesting how everyone talks about post-grad and like this idea of post-grad depression, but I think it's kind of more like a post-grad I guess post-grad awakening or post-grad search, where it's like this, okay, outside of the system of school, how can you shape your life? Because that's and you know, for some people schools it does not for them, you know, which is fine. Like, and some of the most successful, if not the most successful people in the world, did not like school. You know, freaking, you know, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. We hear these stories, but like, I mean, they're like outliers though, right? But like but I think this idea of you, like, no, it's kind of like you're finding your path. Cause if you can see, guys, Vaughn has some tats, right? A few. And you got your knee one recently, right? The tiger.
Thigh.
Oh wow.
I got my shin redone. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a handful.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
I like tattoos.
All right. Because it's kind of like it's interesting. It's like this is getting a little philosophical, but like we are born into like certain systems, right?
Yeah.
Either it's like you're born in the Philippines, I was born in the Bay Area, and there's a certain social construct or society rules, right?
Yeah.
You know, Aristotle talks about like you're born into society, right? And you have to follow the rules of society to live in that. Like, you're not going to go punch a cashier in the face or something like that, right? But that's the quote logic. But going back to that, but like it's kind of like once you're outside of a certain construct like school, it's like, oh shit, how can I shape my life now, right? And so it seems like for you, you've kind of you gravitated towards your passions, tattooing, music, obviously.
Yeah.
That's dope. Like I didn't know, like, so that collective you're part of, like he's one of your idols that
Yes.
you looked up. That's great.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was never the intention of me like making music with him. I just was a fan and just became friends. I think that's one reason why he understood, like, okay, he's really into it. He's not just out here to like become like a musician kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there is that, and that's about yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm kind of curious is that so we're gonna go back and forth, guys. Get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious about your Asian American Studies path, right?
Oh, right.
So
Oh
like,
my
so
God.
Dan and I, on our podcast and your podcast as well, we talk a lot about a lot of issues. But what's interesting is that what I think why we got into podcasting, just briefly, is that like Dan, I'll speak for myself. Like I got really into like DVD ASA. That's a David Cho.
Oh
podcast.
my God, me too.
Dude, really?
DVD, yeah, I was heavy.
Yo,
Asa-
DVD SA
Yo,
forever.
Yo, let me, after this, I'm gonna show you a picture of me and Asa Kira.
I got a picture of her too.
No shit.
Yeah. She
I
went
was-
to the Northridge. I think.
We can post.
I don't know if I can say, but I think she lives like in
She's in
this
the valley.
area.
She's
She's
in
in
the
the
valley.
valley.
She's
We
in
can
the
say
valley.
she's in the valley.
She's in
I
the
mean,
valley.
come on. There's a lot of porn stars in the valley. So,
Because
yeah.
I was getting a tattoo. I took a break next
Yeah.
door at the Pokey spot. I saw this Asian chick pull up in a Mercedes station wagon SUV. And I'm like, no.
Was she driving herself?
Yeah.
Was she,
I was
oh,
like,
wow.
I was like, nah, it can't be. She walked in. I'm like, God, that's her probably.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I didn't say anything. And the artist, she was like, do you want to get a picture with her? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of shy. And she goes, excuse me. He wants to get a picture with you.
Yo, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, awesome. I'm like, hey, big fan. Cool, I love you. I love your stuff. I love your candles. A big fan of your candles. She makes candles. She makes great candles. And then she was a little shorter than I thought, but she's cool. She was
She's
super
so
nice.
dope. Like,
Yeah.
I met her at the Northridge Mall. I'm like,
How?
wait, she was at the and I was just like at the store I was at, and I was just like, is that her? And I was walking. I was gonna get some food. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm pretty sure that's her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should I circle back? I'm like, fuck it, yeah, I'm gonna circle back. I made sure, and I'm like, hey, you know, and I'm like, hey, I'm a big fan of DVD ASA. Like real talk, like I've seen some of her like video work, and like I've seen her video work,
Yeah.
and it's all right,
It's
you
cool,
know.
it's cool. She's
But
good,
like
yeah.
I cut like when I was 29, a couple years ago, I cut porn out of my diet.
Wow.
It's out of my diet now.
Good for you.
So, but like, dude, I think I connected with her a lot more. I mean, like her work in video, like she wins all
Yeah.
those AVN awards,
Yeah.
but her work as a podcaster, she really plays off well with like David Cho and all the other guests on that DVD SA show. And like I thought, like, dude, yeah, she's a cool girl, and yeah,
I think the podcast humanized her.
yeah, and let's
It's-
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. So I'm
Because-
sorry. So back to
No, yeah,
American
DVD
Studies.
ASA, and Dan actually listened to DVD ASA as well, and so and we actually had Bill Poon, one of the DVD ASA guys, on our podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, I can send you a link,
Okay.
but like, yeah, it was, yeah, so because we worked together on a project before, and so talking to him was kind of surreal. It's like, dude, I've listened to you already, but anyways, I heard podcasting, and also I was listening to other shows like on NPR and stuff like that. I was like, dude, this kind of radio, this format of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Kevin Smith got really deep into it as well, and I liked, you know, some of his earlier work. But like I was just like, dude, podcasting seems pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like as a way of filmmaking is pretty tough. Like you need so many different resources. Like you can shoot on your phone and stuff like that, but you still got it. I think podcasting is a very direct way of telling a story that.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely like something I enjoy. I think music too is a great way to tell stories as well. But I think podcasting is a format of our generation that's just like taking off. But Dan, real quick, like some podcasting influences for you.
Definitely Smodcast.
It's Kevin Smith, right?
Yeah, Kevin Smith. And I remember that way back when, and they had this Smodcastle on Santa Monica Boulevard. I always wanted to go, but I never went. And then Bill Simmons, one of the first pioneers kind of podcasting.
Okay. Cool. And yeah,
What made you want to get into it? What was so
just-
enticing for you that you wanted to become more than a listener? Hey, I feel like I can start my own, or be with someone and start our own podcast.
Yeah, you know, I tried podcasting with a different friend, but it just never worked out, the timing wise.
Till you met me, dog.
Yep.
Yin
And then
and,
so-
Yin and Young.
Yin and Young.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think Dan and our personalities work well together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not speaking for you, Dan. I'm speaking for myself. But
Yeah, don't speak for me.
but I think we play off each other well. And,
I agree.
No, I look up to Dan kind of like as a bit of a mentor as well, you know, and I think I offer something to Dan. I don't know if I do, but I think I offer
Yeah.
some perspective here and there.
Definitely.
But I'm curious, like, what were some of your influences for podcasting then and now, actually?
So for me, I got into podcasting mainly because of the music. I like hearing the stories about artists that I listen to,
oh, for sure, yeah.
or just what's going on. And to me, it was like it gave them more a humanizing effect, because when they make music, it's not really their real life most of the time.
Okay.
So hearing them behind the microphone talking about how they got into music, their upbringing, it's sort of inspirational in a sense. Like I can relate to certain things, or now I know what to do in certain situations,
Yeah,
music wise.
yeah.
And to me, it's just I love the culture, so I like to hear the behind the scenes.
Do you know any is specific artist podcasts that you listen to or that you would recommend or anything?
Well, the first founding podcast of hip hop was Juan Epstein. It was Cypher Sounds and Peter Rosenberg, and then there was
Okay.
one called the Combat Jack Show. Unfortunately, Combat Jack passed away, but those two podcasts were huge huge impact on the hip hop podcasting,
Yeah.
because they spawned so many different ones.
Nice.
But my favorite one probably is called No Jumper.
No Jumper. Okay.
So that one, it was originally a BMX podcast. It became like a hip hop podcast, and like anyone else in the up and coming scenes, they'd be on that. So
Okay.
to me, what I liked about that one is it broke new artists.
Nice.
I learned about new artists, and to me, like that's why I kind of wanted to do my show, just to like break new people, or just like really learn a story, because I learn a new thing about people all the time through podcasting.
Right.
And in Asian American studies, we learn like, give something, provide something for your community that it's not there. To my knowledge, there wasn't too much podcasting. I found out yours, but there's not too much in the area that I knew about, or just like that spoke to specifically like underground artists, or just up and coming artists, or just past music, like talking to skaters, painters, actresses,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So to me, there's that, and just it creates a dialogue, and to me, it's a form of networking. And the benefits for the guest is like, hey, you can put on your resume, whatever your resume is, hey, I've been on a podcast.
Right.
That still sounds pretty legit. Like, oh, you're on a podcast. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you're on the show. Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
on iTunes. You're on YouTube. You're on this and that. I mean, to look at yourself up, to look at your show on iTunes or Apple Music and show that to people, like, oh shit, this person's doing something.
Right. It's like it's not that you have to have that validation, but it's not bad. It's
It
looks
looks good on your resume.
It looks
whatever your
good,
resume-
yeah.
It looks really good. Like, you have a podcast.
And I think for me, it just comes out of like I remember like I was in my last semester of CSUN,
Mhm.
and I was just like, and I was working on building this podcast, and I was just like. And I was kind of like procrastinating on my assignments, but like fuck, it was dope. It's kind of like, oh shit, like this, it's coming from a place of love. It's coming
Yeah.
from this place of
Yeah.
like this passion, you know. And it's like I'm watching like Masterclass right now with like Martin Scorsese, and like he talks about, dude, like one of the key things is having that passion or of a story to tell, you know. And the thing is, it's not easy. Like you gotta stoke the fires, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose that passion, but you gotta kind of like poke the embers.
Yeah.
So circling back to Asian American Studies,
Yeah.
like you said, that for you, from coming out of high school, you took a break for a while, right?
Yeah.
Because you're kind of an elder statesman, so to speak,
Yeah.
as far as undergrad, right?
Yeah. I took a break with music, and I think with that came like a fascination for drug use. Like
Okay.
I was 10 years I was deep into drugs. I was able to
Which ones, if I may ask? Or can you don't want to talk about publicly?
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about it too much, but you can use your imagination. You're in college.
Right. Yeah.
It was more than weed. I never really liked weed to be in the first place. A lot of drinking and substance use, and to me, I realized in the podcast I did yesterday was because I stopped doing music. I felt discouraged, and I felt like I needed an outlet. I went from living with parents to just on my own. You're taught at a young age, don't do drugs, but then when you're that age, you're curious, and you're like, man, like, fuck the world. And to me, I just got hooked into certain things, and it lasted for 10 years. And
Damn.
I stopped for the most part. I partake here and there, but I pretty much cut out drinking.
Yeah.
To me, drinking was bad because I'd black out and make stupid decisions and say stupid shit.
Oh.
Or the next day waking up like, you know what you said to this person? Or I hate hearing that. I was always scared, like I woke up, oh fuck, who did I piss off? Who did I hurt? Like,
That's scary.
emotional,
man.
yeah.
That's scary stuff.
But
dude.
you know, to me it was just like it was an escape, you know, because I think with my childhood I went through definitely verbal abuse and physical abuse. And I think it's crazy in the statistics. It said like, you know, people who went through that as a child, they're more than likely going to use drugs.
For
So
sure,
for me
yeah.
realizing that, and now like I think I was 29 when I realized, I'm like, yo, when I turned 30, I was high as fuck, getting loaded. I'm like, yo, when I turn 30, I gotta fucking stop this shit, because it's been 10 years, and like at this age, it's like, well, either you're gonna one or two things. You're gonna like keep doing it and like get in like financial like hazard, dangerous kind of
Gonna
thing.
go to jail or die, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been faced with that before, and it's like, you know, and also it affected my creativity. It's a reason why I did it was because I couldn't create, and I was like, whenever I couldn't write, I'm like, damn, I can't write. I want to get high. It's like, oh, maybe it'll unlock some sort of like creative power. No, I just got high as fuck, you know.
Kids, don't do drugs.
And if you do, I can't even knock on it. I can understand why a lot of people do it. They have some sort of trauma in their life. I say if you do, please use properly. As interesting as that might sound, there is definitely harm reduction, but in general, it's a short-term fix for a problem. You know, like it helps you with a problem up until the high runs out, and then now it's like you feel a lot worse, and like the problem's still there.
You know what's curious is that a lot of people have this romantic idea. To be creative, I need to drink. I need to do drugs.
Yes.
Ernest Hemingway was an alcoholic.
Mhm.
Stephen King, for a long time, did a bunch of drugs before he got sober.
Yeah.
But he wrote in his book on writing that he can't fucking write when he's like barfing
Mhm.
on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
you know? So like, I think that's a really strong misconception
Yeah.
that are kind of like a lot of media romanticizes like,
Yes.
oh, people who do like these drugs. The thing is this, I think a lot of these people are, as the coin Kanye, are HSPs, right? They're highly sensitive people.
Yeah.
Highly sensitive people. And Gabor Mate, he was on the podcast with the Tim Ferriss podcast.
I heard about him. He talked about sobriety.
Yeah, he talks about, he's an addiction specialist, right?
Mhm.
And essentially that what these drugs are, and also Russell Brand talks about this
Yeah,
too.
Russell Brand.
Like these addictions, even sex, gambling, pornography. I was deep into pornography for a while. That's why I had to cut it out.
Good for you.
But like we're dealing with trauma, like
Yeah.
childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Like dude, I can only imagine like that separation that you have from your parents. That's like you might not even consciously understand it. But like I was separated from my mom for like 6 months at a time sometimes because she couldn't really take care of me at home. So my grandparents, I was staying in Taiwan. And my grandparents helped take care of me there. So like, but I love my grandparents. And
Yeah,
like because of that, like, I eventually got, obviously I went back to the States at a young age. I reconnected with my parents, but like still, even those months away can create that abandonment. Like even now, I know with my dating stuff, like or with women, it's hard for me to like try to, oh shit, am I like getting hella needy right now? Am I trying to like, am I just trying to like get her to validate me? Like that kind of stuff is something I'm conscious of. I think I'm, because of meditation and stuff, I think I'm more conscious of and aware of. But before, man, I was just like in these patterns of like,
Yes.
oh shit, she didn't text me back. I'm fucking, I'm not work,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Anyways, so you were deep in the. So when did that path lead to college? I guess.
Oh, I mean, like, so I got into it, like, I was good in high school. I think the
Yeah,
first time
okay.
I took ecstasy was in, like, a senior prom at someone else's prom, which was, like, I didn't feel it. And I took it here and there in summer, but then college is when, like, I really started experimenting because I barely drank in high school.
Okay.
You know, I was a good kid in high school. I never did anything. I snuck out a couple times. And even my dad was like, I don't care if you sneak out. I just want you to be careful when you drink, and I even denied sneaking. So I don't care. Like, you know, do what you want to do. You know, in that sense, like it's part of it. You know, but I got into it in college because I was like, wow, like there's so much experience. Like there's so much to do, and like, you know, I just met certain people. Like, hey, try this, try that, and that's cool. You know, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when it becomes when it comes from like occasional thing to like all the time. But what is occasional? What is all the time? You know, I did drugs I thought I'd never do. I think it like made me kind of like, you know, like maybe life experiences.
Yeah,
You know, I never used any needles or anything. I was scared of needles, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But I think that experience, like really being aware of it now, has helped me become like who I am, and it kind of helped with my music, kind of sense. But the romanticization of like doing drugs, certain points, yeah, I felt more creative, but not really. I think also that also just like use it to cope, man. Use it to cope with relationships and life, and it's interesting. Like I don't know if it's true or not, but like the most tortured artists make like really good music, and that's scary. Like, you know, they make. I mean, you know, what's Kurt Cobain.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, that kind of stuff is like, it's interesting. Like the more tortured they are, they can express so much in their music, but it's, in a sense, it's kind of scary. Like, you know,
The 27 Club. Have you heard
yeah.
about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
scared. I was scared when I was 27. I'm like, yo, I gotta chill. I gotta really relax, because I thought like it could happen.
You know what it is. I think, and there might be a biological component to it. I'm not too sure, but one psychologist, Jordan B. Peterson, he's kind of like he's getting. I think he has some good ideas. He gets a bad rap for saying some maybe slightly right wing stuff, but overall, I think he's fairly intelligent writer. And he was on a podcast with Russell Brand, and they talked about the 27 people. Basically, Russell Brand went through a similar thing. Basically, oh, I need to grow up or I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people when they're in their late 20s, they kind of go through that. It's like, oh shit, I'm approaching 30. Can I continue this early 20s adolescence, or do I need to grow the fuck up?
Yeah.
And I know for me, my awakening was when I broke up with my ex, actually, in my late 20s. I thought like, oh shit, I think this was the girl I was gonna marry, but then she broke up with me, and I was just like, fuck, man, I didn't think about like, I don't think I've really seriously thought about suicide, but I talked about this before, but like, I have empathy for people who commit suicide, because basically they did studies about people who had been through a bad breakup and burn victims, and basically it's almost like the same pathways in the brain as far as like pain. So basically when someone's going through a breakup, it's essentially like almost the same feeling as getting fucking burned by a fire. Yeah. And so I realized that shit, if I can't live without her, then fucking I can't live with her anyways, right?
Yeah.
And I think she kind of sensed that, and I sensed it was best thing that happened in my life is for us to break up, because we would not have been a happy couple. I don't think so. So that was my wake up call. Your wake up call was like, so then you were like in college, still deep into drugs. Okay.
Deep into drugs, and I was like, this is hindering me from my music, and I never got into music to do drugs. I got into music to make music, and
yeah, man.
you know.
Yeah.
So that was my awakening. What about you,
Dan?
Dan, any comments on that issue, in that realm? Any
Before
obstacles?
we delve deeper,
any obstacles you had to face?
Like, how was your late 20s, Dan?
Yeah.
It was boring. It was just boring. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't try drugs.
Good.
I didn't smoke weed or try weed until like 2 years ago.
You're smart.
But I do know of people who have had problems with alcohol, or not alcohol, with drugs, and it's messed up their life quite a bit.
Yeah.
To the point that they're both, the two people I'm thinking of, they're both bipolar now, and I don't know if it was drug related or whatever, but they definitely became bipolar in their late 30s.
Oh, really?
Or early 30s, I mean,
That's scary.
after having done drugs.
Huh.
Yeah. Any obstacles you faced? I mean, did you have any like midlife crisis around that point? Like, you know, what you're gonna do after college, or any career issues? Like, did you want to?
I'm having those now.
Okay. or, like, I mean, Are you able to talk about anything? Anything like in particular that was like was an obstacle, but because you're able to overcome it, you became a better person in that sense.
I don't think I had quite those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
The only midlife crisis I'm having now is I'm actually at the
Shout out to my
midway
roommate
point.
who's passing through right now, getting on camera real quick.
Hey.
He's Filipino as well.
Hey.
Yeah.
Wait, pare, kamusta ka? Ingat ka? Huh?
I don't know what they. Pansit or
It
I
says
don't
some
know.
gang shit right now.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I just said what's up. So I'm sorry. So you said like, I mean, what is it now? I mean, like, I guess juggling being a father of two, and work and the personal life. How is that?
It's rough. But the thing is, like, I graduated from business school thinking, oh, life is going to be so much easier if I at work. But work was so much easier before business school.
Really?
How so?
Yeah. Living in the Bay Area, once you get started in the Bay Area, you start making a lot of connections, and then when you're looking for a new job, you just ask around, and then a friend will always know if there's a job available, and you don't have to. I don't think I ever wrote a cover letter, and I just got interviews. Just sent over my resume.
Mm-hmm.
But down in LA, it's a different market. I'm writing cover letters. I'm trying to get connections, but I meet with some companies, but I'm not the right fit because they're looking for a lot of techies, and I'm not a programmer at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
What do you
right now,
identify yourself
I'm-
as in that sense?
what's that?
Are you more of a salesperson or?
I'm more of an operations person and salesperson. I do sales. I've done sales before, and I'm doing sales now. But the sales I'm doing now is I'm more or less writing proposals.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the actual work, I'm more of an operations guy, managing schedules and stuff.
So first, for those who don't know, like myself, what's the difference from operations and was it programming?
Well, programming, you're just coding all the time. You're writing the code for the software to happen,
Mhm.
whether it's in iOS or Android or
Right.
Python or any of the many dozens of languages that are out there.
Mhm.
So I'm not a developer of any sort. I'm not a computer science guy.
Right.
I've taken those classes. I'm not that good. I mean, when you're good, you're really good at it. But as far as operations, you're doing a lot of the back end stuff to make a company work.
Right.
So doing project management, if something's coming through, you have to manage. You have to keep on top of the people who are doing the actual work. Like you're talking to the engineers. Hey, what's your schedule like? Are you meeting the deadlines? Are you going to meet it? Is there anything issues with that? You talking to buyers, making sure that they've purchased things on time and stuff like that.
Yo, Dan, I'm kind of curious. You mentioned that you're going through like those midlife struggles now. Like, kind of give us a sneak peek because we'll be approaching that age eventually.
Yeah.
Well, it might be specific to me.
Of course, yeah.
But
It's specific to each individual. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to remember that when you're growing up and in a different era, you find a job after you graduate from college and you kind of stick through it for the next 40 years until you retire or whatever. But in this day and age, very few people have those jobs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at my resume is all over the map. So because of that, it's hard for me to find another job that I really want and that I want to just enjoy doing, right?
Right.
That's the dream. But at this point, I'm struggling with, should I just get a good paying job or a decent paying job and suffer, like, just think of it as a job versus some people have careers. I know I have a cousin who knew from an early age she was going to be a doctor, and she grew up to be a doctor, and that's a career. Versus what I do is I'm just hopping from one thing to the next.
Right.
And I'm looking for that fit where I go, this is it. This is my career.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the environment of the company. I've worked in toxic environments before, and I hated it. I remember one company, I went down to almost my college weight. And that means I was stressed out and not eating much and whatever.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, so right now I'm looking for a place where I can grow and be challenged, but also some place where I fit culturally, like thought process wise.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there have been companies that are kind of an old boys network.
No,
So-
right.
Yeah.
And if you're a minority, probably even worse if you're a minority female, you just are not going to get any sort of traction.
Okay.
Right, right.
So, I mean, I think as the minority, like, I know, because we look kind of young for our age, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I know one of my homies, programmer, Bay Area, you know, he said he's got a good job, but, like, there's a lot of, like, the older people generation at the company, white guys, and they treat him like a college kid, but he's, like, my age. He's in his 30s, like, and he's paid his dues, but...
Right.
So they talk about this, like, you know, bamboo ceiling, you know,
Yes.
Dumb talks about that, and like it's, I don't know, it's kind of real, because like perceptually they think, they look at you, they look young, oh yeah, this guy's not ready for management or whatever, but he's probably been working at that company for, like, you know, a long ass time.
Right.
But anyways, I kind of want to circle back. So as what got you interested in Asian American studies then?
You know, man, I was switching majors. Like, I did biology.
And was this also during the drug phase as well, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, damn.
All of this, my whole, I hate to say this, my whole college career was a drug phase.
Class of 2017.
Hey, I got all A's out, but towards the end. But so for me, I was switching majors, bio major to nutritionist to business marketing, because
Okay.
I felt this thing. Maybe I should do something to make my parents happy. Maybe I
Ah.
should pursue these majors because they will guarantee a safe job, something that's financially stable.
Yeah.
And then I realized, well, I'm not happy. I'm failing constantly. Math classes, chemistry classes. These majors rely heavily on math and science. I took an AAS class just to take it as an upper GE, and I got like, wow, this speaks to me. I learned about Asian American identity. It was empowering. Long story short, you become quote unquote woke to issues today, to history about our people, because we don't learn about that in high school.
Yeah.
And I think learning about that, it's pretty empowering, you know. And some people say, oh, like ethnic studies is racist, but no, you learn about different cultures. You learn about, in this case, Asian American culture, you know, because there's a big difference from Asian culture and Asian American culture.
For reals, yeah.
I didn't want to delve into that, but in general, it spoke to me. You know, the faculty and professors, they were human. They didn't care just about my grades. I was surprised when one was asking, so, how's life? I'm like, how's life? This has nothing to do with papers, school. I thought, like, is he asking me because I'm doing bad? But he was asking about life. And to me, I was like, wow, this is a great program, great faculty, great colleagues. It stimulated my mind. I learned critical thinking in that sense. And, you know, it was just like, wow, this is my calling for college-wise. And my professors are so supportive of my music. It went from like one of the professors was like, oh, like, they just asked me about random like school stuff back then, and she's the head chair now. She's like, oh, I started a music video. I'm like, holy shit, this is weird. You know? So they're just a very supportive group, and I just learned about what I became passionate about. It seems like, you know, just well-being of others, and just being able to see situations in the world in a specific lens that you don't learn generally in college and high school, unless like you take these courses.
Interesting. It gives you that kind of perspective that, because like real talk, us growing up in the 90s, you know, the history we learn is all from a white perspective.
Yes.
Columbus discovered America.
Yeah.
Please, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, Native Americans been here for thousands of years.
Yeah.
He didn't discover shit. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And definitely, it's empowering because we don't learn about ourselves. We see ourselves, you know, we built the railroads. Oh, we know karate. Karate Kid. It's a white guy. You know, we see ourselves in the media. You know, 16 Candles. Our idol is like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
You know, and not all of us do martial arts, but it's cool if you can. You know, us Asian males, you see us, we're emasculated. You know, Harold and Kumar, you see a good example. Like what you said, the bamboo ceiling. Oh, just give this guy all the work because he's Asian. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so seeing all of that, it kind of plays into our psyche as Asian men and just Asian Americans in general. You know, so to me it's very fascinating. It's very interesting. You know, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. I saw myself whitewashed, was proud of it. But learning more about it was like, it was kind of problematic because it's like, you know, as white as we can see ourselves, at the end of the day, we're not. You know,
Right. And
you know.
why? And it seems like where is that hierarchy? Is why is white better? You know.
Exactly.
Like why is white, you know, like more acceptable?
Yeah, exactly.
They immigrants the same as us. You know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, even the Eurocentric beauty standard for women.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think in other countries it's the whole colorism thing. Like the lighter you are, the more it gives you more status in general.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of stuff that really interested me. You know, it's not math or science related, but it made me think. It made me really think like, oh well, why is it like this or why is it like that?
Yeah.
Oh, now I see why certain situations are the way they are.
Yeah.
You know, and also Asian American studies too just also gave me a perspective on, you know, perspective of life or history of how African Americans are treated,
Yeah.
how Latinx are treated, you know, and just like Middle Eastern are treated. So it just gave you this like intersectional view, you know. So that's why I got into it, and I'm so glad because taking those classes, I went from getting D's, F's, and C's to getting all A's. I got
Nice.
like one B, a B minus ever. Ever since that, I got to volunteering. I became more active and social, and like, you know, just making a difference, even if it's just one person. Kind of
It
thing.
spoke to you. That
Yeah, it
those
spoke to me.
And I think what's important is that they talk about in Buddhism Sangha, right? The community, right?
Mhm.
If you have I think that's how you pronounce it, but like, yeah, like, if you have a really cool professors, like shout out to Professor Alan Aquino. Yeah. You know, I sat in on a couple of AAS classes, Professor Aquino's class. I also took like a contemporary Asian American studies, and I gotta say about like the Asian American studies department, dude, they're so like close knit and dope. I mean, I think my department, like the filmmaker, is pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
we're
definitely.
good,
Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
yeah. Everyone has their cliques, but like real talk, like, you know, I had a professor, you know, a white Jewish guy, and I made a comment in class about, you know, a person like their so it was like basically I made a comment in class, and he said it was a critique, constructive criticism. I wasn't like trying to be negative or anything, and he's like, oh, do you think that because you're Asian? And I was like, he's trying to be funny, right? And okay, like this is like a rabbit
That's
hole,
okay,
but
yeah.
real quick, but like what political correctness, right? It depends on context, depends on the situation. The thing is, he's a professor,
Right.
all right, and he's, you know, and he thought that we were close enough. Like I was cool with him before
Yeah.
that, and we're still all right. But like ever since that, I'm kind of like wary around him because I was just like, what? And it was dope because one of my classmates, she's pretty woke. She's like, dude, that's pretty racist. Why you say? Like, what does that have to do with anything? And why is that even a joke? You know, why is that funny? You know, so
Yeah.
so there is I think there's something about being Asian in America that's very like, you get where I'm coming from. Fucking like the dating scene.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from as a straight Asian male. Fuck,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are all these, you know, all like, why are all these white guys getting like Asian chicks and what,
Yeah.
or and other chicks, and I'm like, and I'm, you know, there's like, you know, anyways,
Yeah.
not to get, you know, too deep into that, but it's based on studies, like Asian American men have it a little bit harder out there. But you know, there's guys like a lot of my homies, you know, they're married and they got, you know, Dan, yeah, shout out to Dan. Okay, it started to take over for that section,
Sorry.
but like, do you have any questions for us, real quick?
Yeah, I mean, like, what are both of y'all experiences being Asian American and growing up? Did you ever see like any disadvantages or advantages? Was the model minority ever applied to y'all, and like, how did y'all react to that?
Dan,
Let's
you want to
go,
go?
Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, go on that one. Yeah.